Hi everyone. This video I'm doing in response to quite a few queries about what are you doing now? I've spent years doing consultations, 10 years working with human design, 8, 9 years ago creating crystal mattresses in California and crystal environments. It last 3, 4 years now living in Thailand and doing a lot of programs, really getting into the fundamentals of human design, and then going into the deeper layers, what we call human design consciousness, and really looking at how your environment and the way you eat and your environment really sets your body up, and then the way you look at the world, your perspective on life, and what you're uniquely designed to perceive when you look at the world, otherwise known what you're aware of, and what you can then share with the people around you, how that is built right into you. We did, with my friend Daryl Reeves, we did some really in-depth programs over the last couple of years, practical, down to earth, real people, a bit of theory, but focusing on practice. And that's been an emphasis that's followed me through decades. Science, how can you use science to really help people, so they can enjoy it and get the benefit from it? This is when I was at school. And then when I did geology and geophysics at university, and then going into meditation and ashram for 7 years, it's like, what the hell's going on, out here and in me? And what's this all about? And then coming out, being sort of given the marching orders, my teacher was smart enough to sort of shut that down and say, hey, get a life. And going out there and discovering numbers and going, wow, these are amazing. And they're innovating it and creating a whole new system on numbers and writing a book on it and starting to consult with people, which is now 35, 40 years ago. And then applying that to astrology and making astrology relevant and alive and meaningful for people, and not just this theory or this alternative thing, but something you can get real practical value out of. Someone with the scientific training and the geology and geophysics training that I had that could bring it really down to earth so people could get a real benefit out of it, real value out of it. So taking astrology as far as that would go, and then looking into spirituality and metaphysics, but always with this, and how does that work in the real world? How can that truly benefit me now? How can I enjoy my life? Because these things really add value to it, and they reveal to me what an incredible opportunity not only life is, but what I bring to the table, and how I can really make a difference and contribute and enjoy the whole process. And doing literally, I don't know how many thousands, it'd be somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 consultations I've done over those decades. And then wanting to come to grips with it in the real world and make real products. And going in the late 2008, 2009, 2010, living in the US and creating mattresses with crystal grids in it, and film festivals where we created environments that were just beautiful to hang out in, where people attending the festivals could really come to grips with all of that. There was this bring it down to earth, bring it down to earth. How do you use these skills that I seem to have such a rapport with and such an ability to innovate, and relationships? How can you use this stuff so relationships really work? You understand what the bottom line is for them to come together. So all of that. And of course, when I went to LA, I discovered human design in the oddest way, but I discovered it. And it was the first thing I didn't immediately take apart and bring it up to date and take it to a new level and then apply it in the real world, and spend a lot of time experiencing how you can use these and apply them in the real world. And human design is complex. It includes numbers, it includes astrology, it includes practical common sense, down-to-earth mapping of how we operate, the ability to make decisions, which is as practical as you can get, while you're alive in a human body, and so much more. And I spent years, the last 10 years, really taking that apart, understanding it theoretically, then experiencing it, and doing what I inevitably do, bringing it into application. And not because of my design, discovering I can apply it in so many different areas, from team building to relationships to understanding how an individual operates to creating environments using specific elements. And I have no doubt it can be applied to anything from architecture to zoology and anything in between. And in the last year, all that has come home to roost. I'm now seeing that this was all preparation. Now, in about 8 and 9 days, I turned 70. So it's, quite a bit of preparation to get to this point where I know what to do with it, or I know what to do with my life. And someone asked me last week, a lot of these changes have been happening. And, some of you may have noticed I don't do that many videos on the monthly energies, we did all these video programs on human design, and they're still available and around, and we work with them. But this shift has started to happen, and it started two years ago, when I started doing a very unique program called Master Design. Now, that was a joke on Mastermind, but it was really about mastering your design. And I worked one-on-one with people over 8 to 9 months, not just a one-off consultation, but I worked personally, one-on-one with people, and saw and experienced the best work I've ever done and the best results for my clients ever. People really start to understand what their design meant for them and embrace it and apply it in their real lives. And then us having the time over 9 months, to help them give birth to living the way that really works for them while they're in a human body in the real world. And that was an incredible experience. With the programs, we've probably worked with 50 to 60 people doing the programs from go to woe. In Master Design, I haven't counted it up, but it's somewhere between 20 and 30 people that I've worked with intensively. And it's just begun to show me what I'm capable of in terms of helping people. And then, as I said, a week or so ago, someone asked me, what is it you really want? And right from my gut, I won't go into all the context around it, which was fascinating in itself, but right from my gut, the answer came out is, I want to empower people to get what they truly want in their life. And the first time, everything just came into clear focus. I'm not here to be the great leader and everybody follows me. I'm here to work with leaders or people who want to take the lead in their life, even if it's with their family or just in their relationship, in their work, or they want to influence people on a large scale. If you're the Arthur or the Guinevere, the king or the queen in your life, I'm a natural Merlin. Not in the sense that, you might imagine, but the person who's behind the scenes, making sure that everyone realises their true potential, that everyone finds their place, so that something greater than any of us can come into existence for the benefit of all of us. That's my natural role. And particularly when you're just about to hit 70, you start thinking in terms of legacies and mentoring. I mean, I am, and I've seen other people do very similar things. It's, you know, what have I experienced and applied and come to terms with that I can share with other people that can really help them? Because what they do when I've moved on, when I'm no longer around, is going to be the legacy that I leave. And my training in science, my very practical, down-to-earth background, born in Australia, incredible parents, very, you know, father went through the whole war from the beginning, the very beginnings of it to the very end, and served all over the world to bring peace and freedom to the world, to make sure tyranny and dictatorship didn't take over. Gave his 6 years of his life non-stop to that. And the stories he shared with me about that, I could do a whole video on. And my mother, just a woman of incredible commitment. And I was their eldest son. An incredible love, my mother as well. And I rebelled. I was one of the original hippies, and I walked away from their religion, from their lifestyle, from all the 4 years of university, all the training at school, all the sports achievements, just walked away, rebelled, and went off on a spiritual search and da-da-da-da-da-da. And now, and that I learned so much and experienced and applied so much in a very different way. But now I'm realising my heritage, you know, what they gave me, a real dedication to make sure people can live at their best, like my father, and to discover what really matters in your life, what's important, what you love to do, which I inherited from my mother. You know, extraordinary people, there they are, just up in the corners there, you know, extraordinary people. And now it's time for me to do something extraordinary, you know, and I define it as bring out the exceptional in you. So how are we going to do that? Well, one of the things I've realised when I focus on what you want and what you're working on and already developing, where your success has already been, or if you want to find where the success really lies for you, where you can truly contribute, where you'll find satisfaction and peace. If you really want that, then I have to adapt to what works for you, not put together a whole program that you do this and you'll become like me. You know, well, unless you want to learn really exceptional numerology, astrology and human design and some real skills of applying it, and if you do, let me know. But unless you're like that, that's not what it's about. I'm not here to create more people like me. I'm here to help people find their passion, like I found my passion, and eventually develop that to a level where they can gift that to other people, where they can pass that on, where they can empower other people with those gifts that you have. And human design, more than any other thing, has brought that right to the surface, right to the fore. So luckily, my throat, my head, both my head centers and everything, they're undefined. I'm flexible. Even my emotional system is totally open. So whatever you're seeking clarity in mentally or emotionally, whatever it is you want to manifest, I have the energy to draw upon for you to do that. I'm what they call a generator. I've got a ton of energy. And with that, a ton of experience, a ton of practical application, and an incredible amount of tools, quite unique tools for really getting to the core of what each individual is capable of and how to create great teams with those individuals and how to create great relationships between individuals and harness that energy between you, harness the differences and the gifts that you have to bring the best out of each other rather than fight about the differences. To identify your gifts and your passions, to identify how you attract and receive the support you need so you can do what you're designed to do. There's a lot there, but people have to tap into me to get it. It's just the way I'm designed. I'm like a well. You put the bucket down and you get water. You've got to plug in. And that's always been difficult because I've spent a lot of my life trying to make it happen, make people benefit from what I have. And I'm not designed to do that. I'm designed to draw people to me, for people to recognize there's something there and to ask for it. And if my inner authority says yes, then we go for it together. So I've taken all the programs I've been doing and all the experience of literally 40, 50 years that I can draw upon. That's after I left school and university. Drawing upon all that. How can I make that attractive and available if you choose to plug in? And what's just emerged, this is the top. I'm going to start at the top level and then work down to the basics. The things that I've been doing for so long that, hey, I love doing them and you'll always benefit from it for sure. But just recently, having realised my role, what I'm really good at doing, where I can benefit you, and that I want to help you get, empower you so that you get what you truly want. And you do it in the most enjoyable and efficient way, not only in your own way, but with other people. Get the best out of them, get the best out of yourself, and do something exceptional together. So I've had 2 people already approach me about this, and I'm very excited about working with both of them. And this is about working with them on developing their business, trainings and events and various other things. And I've just realised I've got maybe another, or I've got, let's just be practical. Let's keep it within reason, right? So I don't get carried away. There's part of my chart that says limitation of resources maximises potential. So I work best when I don't get caught up with too much. I guess most people do. But I'm really focused. So I'm looking for people, I'm available to people who want to be influencers, who want to be influential. Either they're successful already, they've got great businesses going, but they know there's another level they can go to. You can be globally successful. You can be someone who wants to, start a good business in your area, or you just want to have your family get along or have a great relationship. But someone who really wants to be a leader, someone who wants to bring the best of their talent to the world and share it to the benefit of everyone. Someone who wants to be the King Arthur, the Queen Merlin, the Queen Guinevere of Camelot. Who wants to have something where it's safe to really love and be passionate about what you're doing, but it's also safe to be powerful in doing it. Someone who wants to truly benefit other people through using their gifts. Because for a small group, maybe 3 or whatever, we'll work it out as we go, people, I want to work really intensively with them. We create a business together and they draw upon my skills as they see fit. And I give them honest feedback from my gut, you know, my inner authority, and we create a real win-win where we not only benefit each other, but what we create together benefits people who this person is really influential with. Now, this is what's so beautiful about the whole thing, is it can be in the most corporate, practical, down-to-earth business, or it can be leading into a new philosophy, or it can be dealing with people who are really hungry or just need the basics to survive. I deal with that, all of those, every day. Clients of mine, cutting-edge people, people who just want to know what the hell they're here to do. And I've got a family, my partner and the children and their family, 15 to 20 people, who are just getting it together in the real world in Thailand. I mean, and I can work, you know, as long as I'm willing to tune into what it is that you need to bring out the exceptional in you, it's extraordinary. It's exceptional for me. So and what we're looking at is, and right up front, 10,000 US a month, and we can work together. We'll work out very specific boundaries and times, but I can work with you as your partner to bring out the best in you and the best in your teams and the best in your product and whatever. Now, you'll need people to do the practical side, because that's not my thing. You know, Merlin didn't rule the kingdom, but he showed people what was unique and magical about them, what they really brought to the table, and where to go to get the power they needed and the support they needed to do what they're truly gifted at doing. And that we're calling power up. You know, my job is to empower you, to power you up so you can succeed and do and contribute whatever you're truly great at doing. And you know that you're doing what you're really designed to do, not just something that brings in one resource but leaves you empty, or brings in tons of resources but doesn't fulfill you or satisfy you. You're getting the whole package. And then there's master design, which is when I work with people one-on-one for 9 months. Now, we either do that twice a month, meet for an hour or so twice a month, or every week. And that's the best work I've ever done. I'll just leave it at that, because what a training for them and for me. What an extraordinary experience to take an individual human being and discover and empower their true gifts. For some of them, it's like turned their life around from being difficult. For others, it's just taken them through the roof. They've begun to actually go for what they're truly designed to do and come up with exceptional ideas. You know, the 2 people I'm already working with on Power Up have been, or either are in that program or have been in it. Because the master design wakes up what's great about you, what's exceptional in you. It wakes it up and gets it moving, not intellectually, practically. You start living it. Now, if that's where you want to go, again, that's becoming more exclusive because of just time considerations and But if that's something you really want, go for it. You know, there's two different levels depending on how intensively we work. Some people need twice a month because it gives them time to digest and apply, and other people want it every week because they're either really focused or they really, and you know, there's a lot happening in their life and they're constantly checking in and I'm working with them, or they just, it works for them to get really committed and intensive about something. You know, people are different. And if you've never heard me before, or you still want to check me out, or you want to at least get a taste or a feel for what I'm doing, then there's still the one-on-one consultations. Now, I've been doing those for 35, 40 years now. I love it. You know, it's obviously something I'm really good at doing because thousands and thousands of people, you know, I've had, I think in the whole time, one person complained because they got upset about something. And it was more about not really wanting to look at something that was a part of them. Look, I'm not perfect, but I'm bloody good when it comes to consultations. It's just something I'm really good at, you know. I love it. And people really get a lot of benefit out of it because it's all focused on, you know, it's not about me showing you how good I am at understanding this, that, or the other thing. It's first sentence is usually, how can I help? You know, what's going on in your life that I can respond to? Because that's what I'm designed to do. Now, this is 27th of November. For about 10 years now, I've been charging $188 an hour for a consultation. The beginning of December, I'm putting it up again, because I've got, not because I'm greedy or anything, I've got more commitments than I've ever had in my life now. You know, it's extraordinary, the people I need to commit to and help, and also the value of my experience and what I'm really good at doing is valuable. So I'm putting it up to $220 an hour on December the 1st. Anyone who books before, over the next 3 or 4 days, you can have the old price until we actually put it up. So if you've been on the edge or you want to check this out and you want to get some good value and get a decent price, a very, very decent price, then check in. You know, I'll put it at the bottom of this video. You can contact me. There's many different ways. CP at ChristopherJPower.com, really easily. CP at ChristopherJPower, or one word.com. Easy. Or on Facebook. And I'd love to work with you, particularly if you're someone who has a real desire to help and to influence the people that you interact with. Now, that doesn't have to be thousands of people. If it is, great. But if it's your family and your children, your partner and the people in your community, no problem. I'm looking for people who truly are ready to make a difference in the way that they influence other people. And if you're clear on what you want, or if you want to get clear on what you want, my job, literally, I'm a generator. My job is to empower you to do that, to be a source of energy that you can plug into and draw upon to help you be satisfied, successful, at peace with living that way and doing that. Great talking to you. Talk to you again soon.